streaming. Uh, if you want to stream settings, if you wanted to look at this on YouTube later, I'm just going to put it here in the chat. Um,
Yeah, that
there,
would be great.
there it is.
Actually,
That's the current one, the current stream. All right, so that's going, and you can see the deep lens stuff. Okay. All right, so let's. So basically, what we're going to do today, I don't know if are you guys familiar with deep lens at this point or not. You you I, you may have been here when we started this. Did you? Were you
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Okay.
I was there. I missed pretty much most of the last month, but
Okay. Yeah, because we've been working on it for a while. We've been going
yeah,
through a guide. All right. So let's get to this. Just the level set. This is in AWS. This is the deep lens console, right? And you have a device. They put projects first, but let's go by device. Am I logged in to the right? Did something happen? I'm the right account or am I the wrong account? This should be there. There should be a project and there should be a device. Model. Okay, I'm a little confused by that. Let me sign out of this one and sign out, make sure I'm signed in on the right account. There we go. It's the same account, but now we see it. Okay, got someone else coming into the call. Okay. Welcome. Uh, we're just getting started. We have a live stream going, so you're on YouTube. Um, right now, the device is offline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power him off. And I'm going to power him back on. Give me a second. We're going to start there. All right, so he's turned on. It'll take him a moment to come online. If you just bear with me. Reload this. Okay, it's showing that the device is offline still, and that's still normal because the device is booting up and it's throwing some different LEDs. Now it's got two blue LEDs. So let's go back and just go back to the device. It's still offline. He may be coming up. Let's see. Let's open this video stream. It's still offline. Okay. Let's go back to devices. Now he's online. I don't know why you gotta do that. So anyway, so this is the device name and this is the project. The device has a project associated with it, but we'll look at the device first and then just look at the output right there. This is the output that's going over MQTT. That's like a telemetry. It was invented by IBM. Now they're using that telemetry as sensor data, right? So it's like a sensor thing. Let's view the video stream, and you can see my slim and trim body there. That's me. It's because of the model that we've got. It's trying to see like identifying people, and with the people it's trying to, or the different things, it's putting a bounding box and it's labeling them. this is like object detection, and so you'll see a bounding box and a percentage there. All right, we'll go back. Like I said, this is the project output. This is from MQTT. We'll look at this later, but give me a second. Let's kind of get the highlights. I got that. It's working. All right. Remember this video streaming, yada yada yada. Let's go back to the device. From the device, you can, you have models and models and projects, but let's go based upon the device. Let's look at the project from this point of view, just so you can remember what he's associated with. So this device has two entities that you can edit here, right? Well, let's see what there's anything else we can do. I don't think so. It's just, having a description, having the model and a function, okay? So let's close this. It put us back in that thing, but let's go back over here, click the project, yada yada yada. So you can see there's a function code associated with the device and a model. All right, here we go. Model framework. This is like I guess a default one. These things need to be documented. So what we'll do, because we're trying to document this thing, is we'll come down here. This is just a markdown in the GitHub repo. If you want access to the repo, just send me an email. You have to have a GitLab. It's not a GitHub one. So we've got an overview. That's kind of like a setup. Let's put it after that before the roles. Model function. The model here is I'm not going to do all of this now, but we're just going to put some there to go over it. The function code, I want to I'm not going to do it today completely, but this will be where we might start editing here. A placeholder for notes on what is the function that we're using again. This is the Davis JF worker safety deeplens code. But we'll say this for now, that I think some of that I did put in here in this overview, which you're going to look at here. Basically, there's two functions in this code, right? So there's the function that runs on the device, and I'm trying to keep the info for at Lambda what he's got, versus the function that's going to be run in the cloud. It's not on the device, but it plays a role in this project. One thing to notice here, the one that's in cloud is 3.7, the one on the device is Python 2.7. They both use the default entry point. So where they get called, right? If you go here, You know, there's various routines in here, right? So there's a class. That class has 2, 3, 4 functions. There's a high level function to another high level function. You know, and you want to know what's the starting point, right? That's always good to know. So what that's saying is on this guy, the entry point, and you can find it here. And where is that in here? Let's see if we can find it. Lambda function local handler. Okay, so that's interesting. This is what he's saying the entry point is, and I was expecting to see that in there. Anybody know why we would not? Normally that's the case.
We call it from somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's some code that runs. I wonder. Okay, so it's lambda handler. Let's just look and see if we can find lambda handler in here. Handler would be sufficient. Handler. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, so that's odd. How does that behave? How would that work? Not having. Okay, so this is the first one is, so it should be lambda handler. And is there another file here? There's no other file. That's lambda function. That's the file name. That's the file name. That is, we're looking for lambda handler within that file. I don't see it. What's up with that? How could that be? Is there more code here? No. Alright. So let's do something here. Let's look at this. I believe that is the same as this. Yes, it is. Handler is the call. Yeah. So it's definitely not in there. Okay, so that's interesting to note. Let's note that. Alright, so that's the so I don't know, maybe it's something to do with this class here, which is from Bodo, right? But you know, you've got to get this code called first, right? So that has to happen. So maybe it's not the class, maybe it's just that if it's not specified, it will call it rather than this here. We'll have to look. That's something to do, right? So we'll make it. That's a big to do there. I'll come back to it another time. All right, but one of the things that what I did say, and I took some time already to look at this. The only modification that we made to this file was to specify the S3 bucket name. So let's do this. Let's select all. Let's go up here. Make sure that we're looking at this code all. Let's say select all. Is there a select all, okay. Edit. And we're going to copy this. We're going to come down here and we're going to create this. We're going to make sure, so this is the Git repo, right? Here. And we're going to make sure that this code that we put in the repo is the same as what we're running up here. So let's just make a file called lambda function current, right? And we're going to put in the code that we copied and pasted from over there. And let's look at the two functions. This is the original, and the second one will be our one that we're actually using. Let's make it bigger. So the only thing that's there is we've got this bucket name. All this is the same. We have like a note here. This is all the same. And like I think we added an extra line at the end. Okay, so we know that that's valid. So should it Q all whatever. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this lambda function.py. We're going to move this one to lambda function.py. Get status. We'll add that because we know that's current. That's what we've got running. That actually works. I get so a couple of notes on this. The only thing he's doing is he's taking these images every minute. He creates a folder on S3. Well, I guess let's show you that real quick. What this code is doing. So in this bucket here, which is set to public, that's different from what they're saying. He's got a persons folder. Is it going to go in? Yep. Today is January 10th. So on this day, every minute there's a folder created, and we're at 1325. Every second there's an actual image put up, right? So if I were to look at this is a picture. If I were to look at this is a picture of what the camera sees a minute later, a second later, right? So he's putting up a lot of data. So what we could say here, and I think I did, maybe we haven't. Okay, we don't, so let's put some notes in on that.
These images are exactly like what is there, or is some way filtered or anything?
I think it's just the raw. So that's
Raw.
a good question. So let's look at it and make sure
Yeah.
it's raw. That's a good question. So let's look at this one. We've got it denied. Okay, so that the reason it's denied, I think he's probably resetting the permissions. So let's see if we can override it for a second. That's public access. Okay. If that's public, wow, I thought so. That's public. Let's try this again. Read actually what the error is. See if there's anything down here. Let's try it again. See what happens. That's public. Access denied. Okay.
I think if you go back to that permission screen, somewhere it should
Yeah, so this, I think it may be on the bucket, so we may have to go up the tree, but let's see. This is the object URL.
Yeah.
This is the permissions. This is the public
Sure.
access, right? It's not set to read.
Not
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Read. I understand. Yes. Okay, let's try that again. There we go.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, so
Right.
it's just the raw. So let's
Yeah.
make a note of that. So and then it's so it was the day or again it was minute file every second dot xxx whatever can't remember what it is. Is it a? I guess we should go back and look. It's a JPG. All right, that's that. The bounding box. Raw means the bounding box is not included in the image. All right. Perhaps the person's entity folder name is only for people. We'll have to look at that, you know. All right, so what we'll do is we'll turn this camera so that he's looking out the window. Come
Yeah.
back over here and projects. Remember, it's in the project. I mean, it's in the devices. It's in the devices is where the project output is. So let's look at the video stream and make sure that we're not seeing people. We're seeing my busted truck and my busted SUV. Okay, so that's going. All right, what else can let's continue on. So we've seen this side, right? So we know what the device is doing. And we saw the function for it, which was over here, but let's go to, let's get rid of this. We can get rid of the stream. Let's go, we're at 1331. Let's see if at 1331 he's putting here's 1331 and looks like there's a lot of pictures. Let's look at one. Let's look at the last one. No, it's 1331:01, 1331. So this one. Let's look at this one here. We may have to change the permissions. Edit. Read. Understand. Save changes. Let's look at the thing. Alright, so it's obviously not waiting for people, it's literally just putting them up, okay? So,
Yeah.
so right, so that's kind of dumb, but I don't see that. So he's putting up that in S3. The other thing that like for the ML thing, the ML operation for the frame is put in the IoT MQTT pub sub. Okay. All right. So let's go. The topic name is determined by the AWS deeplens device project output pub sub, I think is what it's called. We'll have to look at this. So you go back over here. We are in, this is the device. Scroll up. This is the device. This is the current project content. Once again, function and model. But this thing right here, right? So let's do this. Let's go to the AWS IoT console. We haven't gotten to the actual output of this thing, but we're kind of building it up and we're putting some notes. This is the subscription topic. So let's come back down here. See if this is valid text here. AWS deeplens, blah blah blah. Project output. What was it called? MQTT project output. Project output MQTT, which is really a pub sub type of operation. Okay. Topic name is of this form. And we want to use maybe these so it shows up in a courier text or highlighted. Yeah, so there we go. By the way, this is just marked down over on the left, and this is how it's rendered. When we look at GitLab, it'll literally looks very similar to this. All right, so we did that. Okay, and we've subscribed. All right, and now this is what we're seeing the device put up right here. Okay, and let's pause it for a second. Pause. Okay. All right. I can't remember what this is, but right now it's nothing. We're going to try to find where that's coming from. But so let's look at a couple of things that we're seeing. We see frame push to S3. Just this is for the function, right? A couple of things here. Text frame pushed to S3 is from line from line 123. This is the code.
Yeah.
Okay. There is another thing which is response text response. This should be like that. And what is it? It is this response. I don't see anything of interest in it, but response colon some JSON, okay, response colon some JSON payload is from, it was the line before, it was line 122, right? Right here. That response is the response from putting of the object to the bucket. This is the response code from pushing the frame to S3 using Bodo library. And so you can see the S3 thing is from the Bodo client, and that's an import at the top of this file. Where is the import? Bodo. Right there. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that. What else? There's some other stuff that's in here that's like, looks like a classifier. So he's saying a train, a person in a train, right? So let's look at another thing. So let's go down to push. So how do we know that we're getting to MQTT? It's via client publish. Let's look at client. That's the Greengrass SDK. Okay, so let's make a note about that. We'll do this. So this is up here. The client object used to push messages is from Greengrass SDK. Search for client.publish code to see output to MQTT. Okay, so let's go back over here. Just do the up arrow, publish. Alright, let's go to the top, just look and see where he comes out. So there's those two things. And then he's putting this payload message. So we're going to look at what message is, but send results to the cloud. Alright, so let's do this. I think it's dash n. dash N. Yeah, dash N. That's what I was thinking. We're gonna copy this. We'll look at this in more detail. We'll look at this a little bit. All right, so we know what those two are. This thing that's variable is message, and then there's a cloud output. So let's look at the difference between the message and the cloud. So let's go back over here. Let's make this a little bigger so we can see more code at a time. We could do the same thing in that thing over there, but let's do it over here where we can do a little bit more searches. So message. Okay, so that message is an error.
So the error is mainly if the response code is not 200, like some other error or HTTP error or something.
Yeah, some sort of error. So this is, where's the try on this? The try is anything here, which looks like trying to get a connection to the client, to the S3 bucket that you've specified. It looks like key, oh, by the way, right here, key persons is hard coded. So it appears, so for this code,
I guess that's why we see the other object also in person.
yeah. So I like, right, where did we put that up? I thought we put this bit here. I thought that this might be, that it would be variable since this was object detection code.
Yeah.
Instead of uploading every second when there's nothing there, he would only upload when he saw a person, and he would put people in the persons one. And if he saw trains, he would put them in the trains thing. But you know, we saw right here,
yeah,
he's seeing train as the higher probability, but he put it in a persons. Okay. Yeah. So right here, regarding the, what you can do is this. Regarding the persons portion of the S3 path, it is hard coded. It does not work. It does not vary based upon the object detection, object in the photo frame. Okay, so the other thing was, what is cloud output? So looking at message, just to confirm, message only shows up there. Cloud output, what is cloud output? So if the probability is greater than, so this is like he's getting some right there, the parsed inference result. So this is something coming back from the model, okay? All right, so the model on the code, the model on the device, come down here. the model on the device performs object detection. What line number was that? One 73. Let's say 173 or 193. What did I say?
73.
73. Okay, 173. All right. And then the cloud output's just a blank dictionary here. He's going over some threshold. What is the threshold? The threshold is 0.25. The threshold for probability of class is 0.25. Alright, so that. And he goes through, let's look at what he does here. He's going through, and if it's a person, he resizes it. And he pushes to S3. So according to this, so he goes through, if there's no person, then this is not supposed to happen, right? So we were what we assumed was working was accurate, right?
Yeah.
We got one more person here. Hello, Michael Lane. How are you? Hey. What we're doing is we're talking about an AWS deeplens device, and we're looking at the code that's running today. Today we're looking at the code, and we're kind of like documenting what we're seeing. We're still learning how this thing behaves, but at least we got it working, right? We haven't shown so what we just noticed here is this code is running on the device. He's doing his interpretation of there is a person if the threshold is greater. If it's a person and the threshold is greater, hold on a second. Really, he's got this reversed. If any probability. If any probability is greater and it's a person, then he's saying detected person, and he's resizing and he's pushing to S3. So let's look at just to make sure there's no other way to get to S3. Called. That's the function. So yeah, so he's only supposed to, so this is odd. Okay. So we've got, the code looks like it only attempt to upload if it sees a person with greater than 0.25 certainty. Certainty. Something like that. Certain like that. Okay. All right, and then he resizes the image. So it resizes the image before push. And that was one thing we saw. All right, so this here, I think this is what's going in the cloud output. Yeah, so he's getting bounding boxes. He's creating some JSON text. And it is the labels and their probability. The output, the cloud output, I think. the cloud output is JSON text, which contains the labels and probability. Class probability, how about that? Okay, so I think that's accurate, but that doesn't explain these, right? Where are these? That's this thing. That's the cloud output. What is this? So you gotta. What happens if there's no? Once again, it shouldn't hit. We have to look at his code, but based upon what he's doing here, if there's a person detected, he pushes it, and then that's the same check if the object probability is greater than the threshold. Detected person is true. He's already determined that up there. I don't know why this is. It's kind of weird. That's that. Okay, so great. Super. So everything's somewhat making sense. It looks like there's some like weirdness here with this. All right, so let's look at the other bit of code, which let's close this. Make sure the get repo is right for that. Yep. This file that's being changed here, that's the one that we're actually editing. All right, so.
Yep.
Can't move to back. What's up with that? All right, so let's put this back. Okay, so we've looked at this code. Let's look at the other S3 code. What is he doing there? Hey, Laverne, you there?
What? Yes?
Yeah, you remember like today when in the GCP meeting I was talking about the hamburger menu, right? How that's synonymous with this services menu. That's what I was talking about. This versus the thing there. All right,
Yeah,
so let's go to the lambda. So the second lambda function. I'm going to put some info on that. This is the cloud function notes. So this describes how the second lambda function the one in the not the one in the so oh, it's not cloud function. Sorry.
Recognition?
The lambda, yeah, it's cloud function is the Google. The lambda function for Davis JF Worker Safety Cloud. All right, so this is this code. All right, so I've already made some notes up above that here. This is the Davis Safety Cloud. It's Python 3.7. It has the same form, lambda function. This is the file name for the entry point. And then this is the actual function within that file for its entry point. This one's valid. Like the other one, we didn't see it, right? So here, there it is, lambda handler, right? So that's our entry point. We'll make a note here. That's your start, main, whatever you want to call it. The trigger is based upon an object created in S3 in this bucket, right? And that was where, when we were looking up here at the files, that's where it is. So every time a file gets put in there, this code gets called every second, right? Every second an image gets put up. It's not supposed to put images unless it gets a greater than 25%, but it looks like it's putting the images up every second here regardless. And he's putting it there, yada yada yada. The other kind of things that you configure for this guy are the environment variables in this function. It has a key, and the key is this. That's what I think we've got it configured for now. So I changed it because I wanted to keep it separate from this. The way the guide was saying, he was saying use the same topic, right? But we're keeping it separate because we want to see just the output. So right now, this is just the output on the device, right? So let's go up here and subscribe to a topic, and let's subscribe to this topic. Everybody follow me here. Whoops. Did he not copy from the right place? I'll do it like this. I think that copy, when you're in the previews, doesn't work. Control V. Alright. Subscribe. Subscribe to a topic. Okay. Alright, so right now nothing is coming over there. So let's go back and look at a few things. Let's go back to this and make sure this is what he is worker safety demo cloud. Alright. Is this function deployed? Let's see if there's anything. Nope. Alright, so just looking at this, look at the high level before we look at the code again. So the trigger is set. There we go. That bucket, the bucket hasn't changed. Should be object created, yes. If you go back and look at the code from where we're looking for we're gonna see, it's a publish. So we'll use his for a second. Find. It's based upon, so he's publishing to the topic based upon topic name. Topic name comes from the IoT topic. This is saying this is a default, right? So let's go down here. So let's do this. Let's save this. We're going to do a deploy just to make sure that he's actually running. So again, let's scroll down here. IoT topic worker, safety demo cloud. Yes, so now he's... So actually, this is 03. Maybe we had the wrong. We didn't have the code deployed, but now you can definitely see that he's putting stuff up. So let's look at his output. It's always image URL, image URL, image URL. They always start with image URL. Image, so that's the same thing. Okay, so let's go to the code. 1 second, I hear my dog. I was worried. I heard him drinking water, and I want to make sure my toilet was closed because I put some of that blue stuff in the toilet. I'm gonna clean it when I get through, and don't want him drinking out of the toilet with stuff.
Yeah.
He's drinking out of his water bowl. Okay, so all right. So let's go back up here. We're gonna do the same thing. We're going to select all. Selection. Where was the select all? Text? Nope. Selections. There we go. Select all. Okay. And we're going to copy. And hopefully that do the same thing. New. Shift V. And we're gonna diff. This is the original one. This is what we're using. Looks pretty much the same. Yeah, so there's no change here. This is really just comments. The way they configure this thing to be variable is based upon that environment variable. Like with the other one, instead of using environment variable, they modified like line 34. So we'll make a note of the difference here in this code. That's the deeplens notes. So this code is configurable, parameterized via the environment variable. Q all, whatever, okay, and then we're going to remove this cloud lambda. We're going to move this one to the new, so that now we see this file is changed, and we'll add it. All right. Let's go back in, make sure we don't see another publish. There's a publish, there's just one publish. Okay. And then the S3, this is from the Lambda handler. So he's getting, so you use, I guess we should also say that the S3 trigger is the other configurable parameter. The specified bucket is used to determine input. Okay. All right. So what he's doing is he's getting from S3 the image, which is supposed to be only of people that are greater than 25% probability, or yeah. But it turns out it's anything, right? And then he publishes to PubSub, right? So we're going to look at based upon, we're going to get a little bit of info on how does he do, what is he doing based upon it, but we can look over here and we can kind of see the output, right? So it's set up to look for a person's with hat or a person's without hat. So let's go back here. So this could be, if you were going to do this, maybe input and output, publish via MQTT, and it's putting image URL and oops, where is it? Oh, excuse me. Just some syntax there, okay? There's another thing that he outputs, I believe. Let's look for metrics. Yes, so here is CloudWatch, right? And he's putting, so CloudWatch metrics. All right, so let's look at main. Start off from the very beginning. So he calls this function right here, right? So that's where the main work is. This comes back with these counts. These counts are where he's getting He's goes up here, he's getting the counts, he's getting the variables, and then he publishes in this other high level code here that JSON text. Alright, so let's look at detect worker safety. Alright, so logic for protect worker safety. Alright, so how does it do it? So he's calling the recognition service with a image from the bucket, and he calls another routine. Calls two other routines. Okay. So is it recognition with a C or a K?
K.
Okay. Now I can't recognition. I can't get spelling because it's spelt with a K. But I guess if I were to
You spell it
recognition,
correctly and then change the C to a K.
yeah, and let's replace it
With
after.
G, I think, right?
Yeah. They got their own way of spelling things.
Okay, and then change the C.
Yeah.
Okay. Does this by calling AWS recognition, and then two other routines for parsing output. So let's function one is alright, so function order is 1 and 2. Alright, so the first function he's calling copy. Where's my 1? We'll kind of make a note of what it is. It's bucket file name, image file name, width, height, something like that. And what does he get back? He gets back persons and hard hats. So it's like he's persons, hard hats. So we're kind of like writing code here, but the thing to say is alright, so that is this guy. He's looking in the labels in the JSON. He's getting a bounding box. So really he's returning the two dictionaries. The two dictionaries are, it's not a count, so it's dictionaries with their bounding boxes. So really what he's doing is, okay, determines returns a dictionary of people and hard hats, given a photo. Alright, so that's what that does. What does this other one do? Match persons. So he builds it into a list, converts to a list. So in these less and y, so he's saying the hard hat x should be less than the person, and then the other x is greater than the person. But there's a not there. This is kind of complicated. I have to look at it some, but it looks like he's kind of like getting them adjacent, but bounded above to the top. It looks like that's kind of what he's doing. He's doing some kind of adjacency test. We'll look at this. This is persons. There he's saying it's a list, but we know it's not a list because he literally converts it to a list. Those are dictionaries, right? So that's kind of a weird thing there. Oops. Control V. So this is, we'll look at whatever XXX equals. So it takes the dictionaries and converts them to list, then matches up counts based upon adjacency of detected labels for hats and people. It seems to be looking for hard hats which are above and centered over a person bounding box. Something like that, something like that. Okay, so that's that. And then he's returning persons and hard hats. These are the really the two outputs. These are where they're matched. Okay. And he's taking that whole key, so I think he's taking the dictionary bounding box with him. Let's look at where this function's called. That's a return. Look at detect worker safety, where this call gets called. So those are, I don't know if those have bounding boxes on them or not, but he's So there's no bounding box at this point. So that looks all correct. Well, I think that's sufficient for that at this point. The output. Where is the publish? IoT is in this code as well. So this also okay, so on the MQTT publish, I think he's also doing the metrics. Or is there any metrics here? Metrics. Push to cloud. Push to cloud. So that's legitimate. I think that's valid. So he's this routine, he pushes to CloudWatch for the metrics, and then he does another routine which does the actual this bit here, right? Okay, so that's that. So that's that bit. The other part of this guide was for going into CloudWatch. And looking at those metrics. So we're going to do that. I need to talk about how to do this, I think. I don't think my dashboard notes are quite as good as they should be. Dashboards. Okay, so he's running. This is the persons without safety hat. So this is seeing somebody. This is, which is always down here, is seeing nothing. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back to the project output. So that's what he's seeing. Do this one again. Okay, let's put this here. Oh, this needs to be higher. Let's put him like this. Let's see if we can get this right. Get this right. Get this right. Okay, so that's there. We need to make this a little higher, but I'll just try to hold it. Okay. I don't want to hold it. Let's see if we can do it like so. Maybe get something a little higher to get it standing up a little higher. What could I put underneath it? So on this one, he sees one person with a safety hat, right? So that's good. Let's do it like this one. Yep, that's good, right? So he sees that guy. But let's see if we can. What I need to do is, I bet if I turn my phone upside down, it's going to. Okay, good. He has it. Good. So far, so good. We got somebody upside down. Will that hat be detected? Will this person be detected? And let's do this just to kind of see if we can't get it to something. Okay. That's like picking up that it's a TV monitor. That's not good. I was trying to get it so it would be like there's no noise in the background. Cut out some garbage there. I don't know. That's not in the frame. How about like that? It's really over here. Okay. It's not detecting a person. I want to see if we could detect. There we go. There was a person detected. Let's see if he can detect a person in a hard hat who's upside, who is the hat's below. You know what would have been good if I were to print this thing out as a piece of paper, you know, and then put the hat so that it's, you know, so I cut here and I move the person so they're right side up, but then the hat's right side up, but it's at the bottom, just to see if it would work. But let's clear this. Clear here. Let's see if we get another update. Pause. Resume. Remember over here is where we're sending up, he's sending up a person, and that was supposed to be only this guy got put up, but we're getting these other ones. And this is the output from the other function. Pause. Resume. He should have said like people 0. I'm not seeing any output here. There we go. Alright. So he's not recognizing a person at all. Not recognizing a person. Occasionally we see it recognizing a person, but we're not getting any today. Okay. So we need to, over here, is he...
Was that a person with
Oh,
that hat?
my
Is it
phone went
licensed?
out. My phone went out. That's what it was.
Oh.
My phone, the screen blanked.
Well, it was good seeing you all again, but I'm gonna head out
Yep.
and make lunch stuff.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I gotta head out and make lunch for my family.
Yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries. The only thing we're gonna do from here on out is we're over an hour. We're gonna kind of wrap it up with this, but we're gonna continue trying to get this guide going and looking at this code so that we can tweak it. And we're trying to make sure we understand how it's configured and put together. Before we actually change the code, what we'll do is we'll go from we'll delete everything and we'll redo it, just as a helpful thing. Uh, but anyway, thanks for
Cool.
coming. Thanks for coming. And
Yeah, and if I have any friends who are trying to get AWS certification, I'll send them your guys' way, okay?
yeah. So I've been doing for as far as certification. I'm not certified in any of in GCP or AWS, but I've been doing GCP for about 2-3 years, I think, and AWS is about it's going on a year now, right? So
Cool.
I'm not really qualified to talk about certification, but I do study for it, and one of these days we'll take a test on it, see if I can
Cool.
get certified.
Well, take care,
Yep,
okay?
yep. Thanks for joining. Have a happy day today.
Yep. Happy beginning of the year.
Yep. So, yep. So the nice thing here, folks, is the image is still up there. It's seeing a person. It's not seeing the person with the safety hat. So,
Right. It does see the person who's even still upside down.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I was just trying to test that logic on the hat versus the
Right.
person,
Mhm.
and it may not even be detecting a hat at this point in time, right? So what we need to do is we need to take that hat and experiment with it, right?
Mhm.
You know, and I think paper would be better than this phone.
Or have a person holding a hat too. There's probably some pictures of a person. I've been taking some different pictures of food on my phone because I'm going to be
Yeah,
recognizing food.
yeah, exactly. We need to get some photos with some people, hats, and stuff. But that's that. We kind of looked at it a little bit. Last thing we'll do is get status, and we'll get this one here, and we'll save it. Make sure everybody is right. Get status. Get add hard hat safety. Just a work in progress. And let's see if we can see this in GitLab. Maybe I'll be able to log in. We can actually see it online. Okay, yeah. And so these are the notes that we've got. So we've kind of got, here is the original guide that we were using. We're adding some notes on it as an overview. That's the first function, the second function, and then it starts into the setup IWS roles and yada yada yada. This is how you set up the different Lambda functions, and then on the output in CloudWatch, we need to make some more notes here. So we'll hit that next time. But that's that. I really appreciate you guys showing up again and taking time. I need to make sure I unplug this right away. Last week, I'll stop this. Let's see, where is it? It's over here. Stop sharing. Stop presenting. Last week I forgot, and I think I was doing the leaves, and I was like, when I get back inside, I need to unplug that Amazon camera because he's loading up every minute, every second a photo, right? Yeah. I don't want to blow my budget with Amazon. I forgot. And then Monday is when I did it. Or I think it was like Monday night. I remember it. I was like, oh my God, that thing's still running. So that's why in the GCP class this morning and the previous weeks we've been doing like cost management because I'm trying to get my stuff under control. But anyway, that's that. You guys got anything you want to talk about? I probably should have done that while everybody was here.
No,
you didn't think. I mean, you didn't have any discussion on the SAS, right? You're not doing that.
Oh, so the SAS thing
anything related to that?
it's over, right?
Oh, it's over. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had seen the thing. I forgot to check on it to see what they were doing when it was. So it's actually already finished up.
Yeah. I was wanting, so I want to get to the point where we this has been something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. I want to get back where we're doing something together. You know, like today, this morning, we were doing the labs together, right? And Diva had the problem, so we actually got to, for her to share screens. I want to do more of that, right? So I'm not the only guy talking. And if we can work on something together, you know, that's neat. It'll be fun. I think we'll have a good time. And that's a lot better than, you know, you learn a lot better that way, right? With what we've done so far, I will say that I've learned, you know, I've learned definitely some on the CloudWatch and how the Lambda functions work, and that MQTT IoT pub sub. You know, they sit on like on all the Amazon names. Just know what they're kind of like compared to Google. And the guy, you know, who gave me the device, he still wants this guide, and I promised him I would do that. You know. So this document is, you know, I'm critical of his guide. Well, my guide is not any better because it's got lots of to-dos in it as well. But that's that. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, have a good day, and I will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.